Welcome to Middle Math Academy Unit Rate and Rates, level number 1. If you're interested in any more rate practice, make sure to check out challenge levels 2 through 5, which we also have available. Let's get started. Our learning targets today are I can find the unit rate and unit cost, and I can solve real-world problems and explain my reasoning. Go ahead and rate yourself before the lesson 1 through 5. 1 being the least confident on these learning targets, and 5 being the most confident on these learning targets. At the end of the lesson, after we've gotten some more practice in, you'll rate yourself again. After you've rated yourself, pause the video and answer our opening question. Before we get started on our notes, remember this video will not go over every single problem, so it's really important that you pay attention to the examples and you write what I write, so that way when you're practicing on your own, you know what you're doing. All right, let's get started on our notes. Our first note is a rate compares two quantities that have different units. A unit rate or unit cost has a denominator of 1. So when we're finding the unit rate, we are going to divide the numerator by the denominator. So today we're going to be setting up our division problems as fractions. For example, I want you to write this as well. 6/3 also means 6 divided by 3. Remember, this fraction line means divided by. So whenever we do divide, the denominator or our bottom number will be what we want one of. So let's practice just that part in example A. Example A says, if Kayla made $50 in 10 hours, how much did she earn in 7 hours? So before we can figure out how much she earned in 7 hours, we need to first find our unit rate and figure out how much she earned in 1 hour. So to do that, hours, or what the problem is asking for, that will be our denominator when we divide. So we're going to set up our problem as $50, make sure you're writing with me, divided by 10 hours. And then that will give us our unit rate. 50 divided by 10 is 5. So that is $5 per hour. So what we just practiced there is finding the unit rate, which is step number 1 today. Find the unit rate. Step number 2, we're going to multiply to find how much she earned in 7 hours. That's going to give us our rate or our final answer. So if it's $5 in 1 hour, and you could write 1 hour here, but we just kind of know it's 1 because there's no S on the end. It doesn't say hours, it's just hour. We're going to multiply times 7 hours. 1 hour times 7 is 7 hours. 5 times 7 is 35. So that tells us that if Kayla made $50 in 10 hours, she made $35 in 7 hours. Once again, key point, divide to figure out the cost for 1 hour or the price for 1 hour, and then multiply to find the rate. All right, let's practice example B and C. I'll do example B with you, and then I'm going to have you practice example C on your own. Example B says, if Eric paid $18 for 3 books, how much do 7 books cost? Our first step is to figure out how much does one book cost. So to find the unit cost, I'll do $18 divided by 3 books. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So that means it costs $6 per book. This is our unit cost or our unit rate. It's just called unit cost or unit price whenever money is involved. So we did step 1. Step number 2, we're going to multiply to find the rate or how much it costs for 7 books. So I'll multiply our numerator and denominator times 7. $6 times 7 is $42. 1 book times 7 is 7 books. And we're going to circle our answer. It cost $42 for 7 books. What I want you to do now is pause the video, complete example C on your own, and then come back once you're finished. All right, for example C, you should have done 40 problems divided by 4 minutes. That gives us a unit rate of 10 problems per minute. Then we'll multiply to find the rate. 10 times 11 is 110 problems. Oops, sorry, that's a little bit messy. In 11 minutes. Let me show you a little bit neater of an example. Here's some neater work in case it's more helpful. Once you finish checking your work and correcting any errors, please flip to page number 2. Let's take a look at page number 2. I'm going to complete problem A with you, and then you'll complete the rest of the page on your own. There's notes at the top to help you as well. Problem A says, Corlin walked 154 yards in 7 minutes. At this rate, how many yards could she walk in 15 minutes? Step number 1, we're going to find the unit rate. So if she walked 154 yards in 7 minutes, and we're looking for 15 minutes, I know minutes will be my denominator, so we can figure out how the distance in 1 minute. So we have 154 yards divided by 7 minutes. 154 divided by 7 is 22. 22 yards per minute. So remember this, how far in 1 minute is our unit rate. That's our first step. Divide. Step number 2, we're going to multiply to find our rate. We're looking for how far in 15 minutes. So I'm going to multiply our numerator and denominator by 15. 22 times 15 is 330 yards in 15 minutes. And it says circle your answer. So make sure to circle your answer. And then we can write a sentence if you want. We can say, Corlin can walk 330 yards in 15 minutes. Go ahead and complete the rest of page number 2. Come back when you're ready for page number 3. All right, on page number 3, I'll do the same thing as page number 2. I'm going to complete the first problem with you, and you'll complete the rest of the page on your own. Problem A says, if Tatiana ran 400 miles in 50 days, how many miles can she run in 7 days? Let's first figure out how many miles she can run in 1 day. So I'm going to do 400 miles, make sure you're writing with me, divided by 50 days equals 400 divided by 50 is 8. So that gives us 8 miles per day. That is our unit rate, which is step number 1. Then we're going to multiply to find our rate. We want to know how far in 7 days. So I'll multiply both times 7. 8 times 7 is 56. We get 56 miles in 7 days. Then we can write a sentence. Tatiana ran 56 miles in 7 days. Complete the rest of page 3. Come back to the video when you're ready for page 4. All right, on page number 4, I'm going to complete problem B with you, and then you'll complete the rest on your own. B says, at a bakery, employees can make 125 bagels in 5 hours. At this rate, how many bagels can the bakery make in 22 hours? Step 1, I'm going to figure out the unit rate. 125 bagels in 5 hours. Remember, the fraction line means divide. 125 divided by 5 is 25 bagels per hour. Now that we know how many bagels can be made in 1 hour, we'll multiply that by 22 to figure out how many bagels can be made in 22 hours. So 25 times 22 is 550 bagels. That says bagels in 22 hours. So 550 bagels can be made in 22 hours. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time, and then complete the rest of page 4. Come back when you're ready for page 5. All right, on page 5, I'll do problem A with you. If you ran 3 miles in 24 minutes, how long would it take you to run 8 miles? So we want to know about miles. So that means when I divide, miles will be my denominator. So I'll do 24 minutes divided by 3 miles. 24 divided by 3 is 8, which puts us at 8 minutes per mile. This is our unit rate. Now that I know our unit rate, I can multiply that by 8 so we can figure out how long it'll take to run 8 miles. 8 times 8 is 64, so we have 64 minutes for 8 miles. Make sure you have this down. Pause the video if you need more time. Then come back to the video when you're ready for page number 6. On page number 6, pause the video and complete our common misconception problem and our closing problem. Once you finish both, come back to the video. Our common misconception problem says 3 jugs of apple juice cost $12. Kayla and John each wanted to find out how much 7 jugs of apple juice would cost. Kayla said you would do 12 divided by 3, then multiply by 7. John said you'll do 3 divided by 12, then multiply by 7. Who is correct? Well, since we're talking about jugs of apple juice, that will be our second number when we divide. So to start off, Kayla is correct. Because if we are looking for how much one jug of apple juice costs, that will be our divisor or our denominator. The jugs will be our second number when we divide, as you can see listed here. Then we figure out that it's $4 a jug, and we can multiply it by 7 to figure out that it costs $28 for 7 jugs. So go ahead and pause the video, make sure you have this down. And now we'll check our work for our closing problem. Make sure you've already completed it if you have not. Our closing problem says, Mrs. Walker pays $15 to fill a 3-gallon can with gas for her mower. How much will it cost to fill a 5-gallon can? Name the steps as you solve. To solve this problem, first find the unit cost by dividing dollars by gallons. Here we can see we have $15 divided by 3 gallons. That's $5 per gallon. Then we can multiply the unit cost by 5 because we want to figure out how much it costs for 5 gallons. And we get $25 for 5 gallons. Put a check next to your work if you got it correct. Fix any errors if you did not. To close out today's lesson, we're going to answer 3 debrief questions. Number 1, in your own words, what did you learn today? Sometimes it's helpful to go back and look at our notes or look at previous problems you've completed. How much effort did you put in during class? Rate yourself 1 through 5. 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. And then what do you think is a common misconception or a common error that a student might make when learning unit rate and rates? Once you've answered our 3 debrief questions, you're going to flip back to our very first page. And now that you've had some more practice, reread our learning targets and rate yourself after the lesson. Remember, 1 is the lowest amount of confidence in how you feel about these, and 5 is the highest confidence. Thank you for joining us today at Middle Math Academy with rates level number 1. We have 5 levels of challenge for every topic, so if you do want some more rate practice, please make sure to check out levels 2 through 5. Have a wonderful day.